Here for another little stream before we gotta head into work. Looking to get maybe a race or two done before we have to head out for work. But for those of you watching this, if you're watching this after stream ends, feel free to take this next 30 minutes to an hour. Enjoy the stream, enjoy the video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe if you haven't already. We are starting out in second place today. We got Sour just in front of us. I want to say he was about maybe 1/10 of a second ahead of us in qualifying. Other than that, not too really worried. Yeah, not really too worried about the people behind us. So if anything, we're just gonna try and stay ideally in the top two. If me and Sour can really get ahead here in these opening laps, should be a pretty decent race. So if anything, we are gonna see. We're hoping for nothing crazy into turn one, no heroic moves. But definitely looking to get some things going right now. Yesterday we did have some pretty good races, finishing first and third in both of the races. And while these tires are definitely feeling pretty cold right now, me and Sour definitely seeming to pull off just a bit. Does seem as if he got a little bit of a better exit through that corner, but it's alright, we still got 14 laps. He's gonna go on it a little bit of a more defensive line, perhaps. And we are gonna get on the gas perhaps just a little bit earlier, so may be able to hop into this slipstream down this straight. And actually getting a really good exit out of that corner, so slowly starting to see the back of Sour here. Although getting on the gas just a bit late through that section. It does seem he's pretty fast at these sections. We do got Reef behind us, although it does look like he has a penalty, so at this point, just gonna try and put down some fast laps and make as few mistakes as possible. And ideally, we just don't want Sour to get too far ahead of us. As long as we can see him, we should be okay, but looks like maybe a little mistake on his part through that section, so should be able to slowly but surely make our way back over to Sour here. That gap just at about the second mark, just below it actually. actually going to get on the gas. It looks like maybe just a tad bit earlier than Sour, so still just slowly seeing that gap go down. And it does seem like he is really good through this middle section, I won't lie. As he's kinda really starting to pull away, but we do see Super B behind us, who currently actually has the fastest lap by what looks to be a millionth of a second actually, so. And actually gonna be a bit later on the brakes there, so gaining that time we'd lost right back on Sour, slipping just next to that 1 second range once again. Does seem like Reef and Super B behind us may be battling it out a little bit, as we have seen them exchange positions a few times. And it does look like maybe a little incident behind us, so that gap's about 5.5 seconds behind us now, with about a 1.5 second gap in front of us, so definitely looking to bring that gap down. Now coming around for that 5th lap, we are going to think about pitting on this next lap. Assuming we can pit before Sour, we may be able to take it on our pit strategy. We just definitely don't want to let that gap get way too big in front of us. You know, from the looks of it, he really is just starting to fly through this track. So we are going to go ahead and hop into the pits on this next lap. And ideally, we're just hoping that Sour either makes a mistake or that we're able to catch him when he is coming out of the pit lanes. So we are going to go ahead, hop into the pits. We're going to hope that we can catch Sour, ideally when he comes out of his pits. Coming out of the pits, we're hoping not to get into anything too crazy. So coming out in 7th place. Tires definitely feeling a little cold at the moment. Gotta warm those up just a tad. Although these tires definitely feeling very fresh. as we come up to this penalty line, we are going to pass Gonshi here. And we do see Sauer going into the pits just there, so we are going to see if we can catch him coming out of the pits just now. It is going to be close, so we're going to see. And he's just now coming out, so we are going to see him just up here. There he is. So we do have HRS 40 here in third place. And ideally what we're hoping for is not to have to fight this guy too much. So and ideally what we want to do right now is just stay in this slipstream. We do know that we really caught up to him on this final turn, so if we can stay on this slipstream, should be able to make a overtake attempt. Oh, and a bit of contact there already. And we're gonna see him go into the pits there, so no idea why he's going that extent of trying to defend that position when going into the pits. Makes no absolute sense. But ideally we just gotta put our heads down and try and find Sauer in these last few laps if possible. It's looking at about 3.5 second gap at the moment. So we are just going to see if we can put our heads down and really just try and find him. So it's still sitting in second place currently, just where we started. Ooh, and those tires may be feeling just a bit cold at the moment. So definitely still needing to warm them up. And ideally at this point, it does look like Sauer really is just, he's pretty fast from the looks of it. It's really starting to pull away. Although we are holding second place here very well, with about a 5-second gap behind us. Taking our first dip into the 20 seconds of this race, minute 20 lap. We do see Sauer putting in a 20.3 it looks like just there, so definitely just flying around the track currently. And we are going to get a penalty there, sadly. Thankfully, nothing too crazy. Oh no, we actually might get another penalty there. Nope, it is just going to be the one, thankfully. So we're going to serve that here. Not going to affect us, you know, too badly, but definitely going to have some effect as to whether or not we're going to be able to catch Sour ahead of us. Although, the way that he's been driving this race definitely doesn't look like it. It's actually getting a really good exit out of that corner. Gonna have another penalty there, sadly, making the same mistake we'd made earlier. Oh wow, and that's gonna be another penalty as well. Oh, yep, there it is. Alright, so making some mistakes we don't want to make there. We're gonna serve that penalty, and we are gonna see Holy Moly behind us slowly starting to make his way into rear view. So for this final lap, definitely want to keep him away. I want to keep him above that 2-second mark. So as we come to one of the final straights, definitely not quite the race we'd hoped for, although it was a great race. You know, held our position in second place, started in second, finished in second. Didn't have really too much to worry about, although I am really hoping that we can get some closer races here soon. You know, don't get me wrong, these races have definitely been fun, but definitely looking to have some more, you know, 2, 3, 4 lap battles with people. Definitely, honestly, that is also on us too. Sour, you know, we had a little, I'd say, battle at the beginning, and just, he really did pull away from us. But it was a great race, so we are going to see how everything pans out here with everybody else. Pascal's wager in ninth currently. Have raced with him before, I know that. I think I might have seen Super B7 and Ricky Bobby as well. So definitely good to race with them. Looks like Ricky Bobby maybe leaving that race actually. We do see HRS, that one person who was in a fourth, who I believe was battling us for that overtake just before he'd gone into the pits. He's going to be finishing in fourth, so only losing one position from where he was when we were fighting him. And you know, for the most part, definitely a lot of Mercedes. You know, the CLK, definitely the meta car for this this track, this race this week. The RS5, don't get me wrong, it's decent. I just don't think it has that top, you know, that top straight speed. The GTR, I did test that one out actually yesterday night. I was just trying to see how it felt compared to the CLK, and in my opinion, it definitely handles a bit better, but it's just definitely slower in my opinion. But Sour definitely. Yeah, no, he's definitely a good racer, man. But looks like we do have enough time for one more race before I gotta head to work. So from the looks of it, I mean, we are slowly making some what's the word? Some progress on our driver rating. Ideally, just trying to get that rating up to the A rating. So for the most part, that's what we're trying to do. Let's go look at our race reports real quick. Look at the past races we've. Oh, whoops. Let's just take a look around real quick, folks. But yeah, no, so currently no championships, anything like that. Events. We are going to go ahead and hop into this deep forest again for the last time for the day. May end up streaming later today, may not, we will see. Although we are going to see if maybe we can chip off a 10th or two on our qualifying real quick in these last, you know, minute or two. So, sorry folks, not talking at the moment, really just trying to put my head down and see if we can improve on this, this qualifying time. Getting a pretty decent exit out of that corner. definitely not going to be a 19-second by any means. Making a slight mistake there, but luckily not losing too much time actually. And if we can maybe sharpen up just a tad on this exit of this final corner, maybe able to make it a 19-second lap. And not going to be a 19-second lap, but should be a low 2 if I'm not wrong. Low 20.2, and actually this is going to be about a mid 20, so. And, you know, we are going to make a slight mistake there, so. Yeah, definitely not going to be able to improve on that time quite yet, although we are going to see how we do in this next race. And you know, even though we had made that mistake, still pretty good lap, you know. It's going to be a really low 21 from the looks of it. So, or actually a very high 20. So, this race is going to start right now. We're going to see where we place on the grid. We're going to place first, actually. We're not going to be seeing Sour or any other guys, it looks like. Maybe a few of them from last race in here. So we are going to be the only 19 actually in the lobby at the moment. It looks like every car is, from the most part, looks like a CLK. It looks like there was maybe one RCF and then one the Beamers.
Jimmy. He is P1. You were P1? One of you were P1. Like, I'm up on my screen. I only see. Yep. I would have liked that one.
So we are checking this guy's stream out real quick. We got Brigsby down there. Just checking out his YouTube. Starting in P1 though, we got Willie Cologne behind us, Matthias, Pastel. So looking to be the only 19 or 1 minute 19-second lap as of right now. So gonna see what all goes on. We are gonna go ahead, hop back onto our stream. And, you know, starting out in first, let's see if we can keep it, folks. We did start out in second, held second place last race. So starting out in first, we're going to see if we can hold it. So making a slight mistake there. Want to make sure we're not making too many more. And that gap behind us is going to be at about the 2.5 or 0.2 second mark. We are going to have to go on to the defensive. Ooh, a little bit of contact. Make sure we're leaving him some space. So definitely going to have to stay on the defensive here going into turn 1. And we are going to be able to stay in the lead for the time being. A little bit of contact from the back. Making sure not to let that rattle us too much though. At this point, just wanting to keep a clear mind, stay in the lead. And you know, we did get a really good exit out of that corner, so at this point, just gonna try not to drive as defensive and really put our heads down. And letting the tires slide just a bit there. Loosen just a tad at a time, nothing too crazy though. And getting on the gas at a great time, getting that time right back. And now, folks, definitely starting to find our flow. Getting on the gas nice and early there. So that gap's still at about the half-second mark. I'm getting on the gas just a little bit late there, going just a tad wide on that turn, so may have to go on the defensive here into turn 1. We do have Willie, who seems to be keeping up with us pretty well. And as you can see, Willie definitely just right there on our back. Although just making sure that we're still driving decent. Oh, and it looks like there was a mistake behind us. So we are going to try and take that to our advantage and just really put our heads down, get as far up as possible. And once again, making a slight mistake there into that turn, so. Does look like the top four are kind of in a group at the moment. And at this point, really just starting to find some flow, make as little mistakes as possible. Oh, making a slight mistake going tad bump into the wall there. So we are going to see Matthias behind us perhaps go for an overtake. Ooh, and we are going to have a slight mistake on our part there. So we are going to hop into the pits here, going for a good pit strategy. And at that point, really what we're hoping for is that this gap in front of us does not get too big. We're hoping that we can catch these guys when they pit, and ideally when we come out of the pits, we're hoping to make as little mistakes as possible. We are going to try and preserve our tire life for a bit longer. That race beforehand, I believe we went for a 5 or 6 lap pit stretch. So, coming out of the pits in 8th place. Gonna try and maintain 8th place. Although being on some fresher tires, although colder as well. I'm gonna try and warm these up as quick as possible. And definitely just try not to get caught up behind these guys. So we are going to stay in the slipstream of Campos here. And we are going to get on the inside of him. And get that overtake done, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So getting 2 positions right out of the pits, exactly what we want to do. And at this point, ideally what we're hoping for is to put our heads down, not let this gap from the guys in first place get too big, and just make up as much time as possible while on the fresher tires. And as you can see, that gap in front of us, I believe when we came out of the pits, or when we came around for that first lap, was looking at about 4 seconds. Already down to almost the 2.5 second mark, so definitely gaining time. And we are going to see Matthias go into the pits there, so we should see him coming out of the pits, if I'm not wrong. He should come out just before we get across the finish line, but assuming he is going to be going slower. Yeah, so he's going to come out just now. So we are going to see if we can get in front of Matthias here. Making sure that we're staying in slipstream range. You know, it does look like we are in that slipstream, so we're going to try and use this to our advantage. Just stay in this slipstream. And, you know, we are going to block him there, so getting actually a very good overtake done. We're going to see Willie and Super B going into the pits there. And Theen currently in first place. And Willie actually coming out of the pits in front of us, which is not what we wanted to see. So I mean, ideally what we're hoping to do now is just put our heads down and find Willie in front of us. And you know, slowly but surely, we may just be able to do that, folks, as that gap in front of us, almost at the I'd say almost at the 1.5 second mark. Not quite there though. And getting actually a really great jump off the line there. Or not the line, the exit there. And you know, we do see Willie in front of us, so ideally we're just going to try and chase him down in these remaining 4 laps. And looks like maybe a mistake on Willie, so that gap really starting to come down now. Definitely just looking to chase this guy as long as possible. I believe Theen in first place has not pitted, so we are awaiting him to pit. We are going to see him pit right there, although me making a slight mistake, I am going to get a bad jump off of that exit. And we're going to have Matthias behind us to worry about. So Theen currently in the pits. And you know, surprisingly enough, he did come out of the pits before us, so... And, you know, making another mistake there. And Matthias driving us a bit wide, making a bit of contact, not leaving us too much space. And wow, folks. Making some mistakes. Honestly, not really too happy with that driving by Matthias. I mean, I saw him coming, but I left him the space and I was left with no space. So that's where I'm kind of at, like, you know, not really too cool. So we are going to see if we can catch Matthias. So we aren't going to drive too clean with him anymore, considering we've had 2 incidents with him that have caused him to overtake just with a tiny bit of, honestly, reckless driving. So we are going to try and get on the back of him. And our tires just definitely starting to show some signs of wear at this point. Not quite the race we'd hoped for, but we are gonna stick it out to the end. Hopefully in these final 2 laps there will be maybe an incident of some sorts, as these final 4 drivers definitely starting to really come together. Although making some mistakes on my part, definitely not what we want to do, and I believe all of these guys in front of us are on some fresher tires. So coming around for the 13th lap, gonna have 2 more laps to go. Looks like maybe a slight mistake in front of us. Oh, and we are going to see a penalty there. So perhaps a chance for us to slide up into 3rd place, stay in the top 3 on the podium. And I do believe it was Willie who had that penalty, having just served it. So coming around for the 14th lap, we are going to see if perhaps we can catch these guys on this final lap with about a 2nd gap in front of us. I mean, it's definitely possible. We're just going to have to hope for a mistake or some really good driving. And that gap is starting to really come down. And as you can see, we're really starting to find Willie here. We are just right on the bumper of him practically. And basically too wide going down the straight. We do have the inside though, so we are going to try and keep it. And we are going to get that overtake done. So although we didn't finish in first where we had started, it was an amazing race, you guys. Definitely got what we asked for, a more competitive race. And gonna finish in 3rd place. So not too bad of a race, getting an overtake done on that final lap, which was putting us in that top 3, exactly where we wanted to be. So we do see Brigsby actually down at the bottom. Alright folks, but that is going to end stream for the day. And I will see you guys in the next one. We are going to go ahead, check out our driver rating real quick, see if that went up a little bit. And from the looks of it, it did. So, both Matthias and Thien right there are actually some A drivers. So, definitely some very good drivers, honestly. But, anyways, we will go ahead, see you guys in the next stream. May end up streaming later today, we may not. It all just depends on how I'm feeling when I get off of work, you guys. But, gonna take a quick little look at that driver rating as you know, it is slowly going up, so approaching that halfway mark. Yeah, so if anything, I mean, let's see if we can take a quick little look at our personal profile, if I can figure out how to do that. Ah, there we go. So as of right now, let me just look real quick. I actually haven't looked at this really as of right now. Alright. But yeah, no, so currently sitting at that B driver rating. I hope you guys did like today's stream though. If you guys have anything you guys do want to see in future streams, future videos, feel free to type that down in the chat, put a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you all have an amazing day and stay blessed. I'll see ya.